Morning, Master. Morning, Safali. So the weather is, as a whole, fine. It was bad enough last night where they canceled school, but, like, at this time, it is not even raining in Roanoke. Like, we got a good amount of rain last night, but not anything, like, crippling or anything like that. We're still in a flash flood watch. We're still going to, like, probably get some more storms later today, but as a whole, it's fine. I did lose power last night, though, so the final round of my stream last night did not conclude. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do the, like, Amazon Prime resub thing through mobile. Say, Livy, so it goes. But I appreciate the fact that you're still taking the time to do it. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site dedicated to legacy death and taxes, though that's not what we're doing today. Morning, Bentley. So I got a donation deck list last night. Someone saw that I was going to be off of school and sent me like, hey, can you do a morning stream so that I can watch this while I'm at home? And I said, you bet I can. We're going to be playing with Enchantress this morning, and it's a really cool build. So Dr. Bill sent me this build. He recently took first place in one of his local tournaments to win some buys with this build. And I think it's neat. So normally in the past when I've played Enchantress, I've played the blue version with Words of Wind as the primary win condition. So you win by bouncing all of your opponent's permanents. It's fun, for me. This version is a little bit different. So if you're not familiar with the general Enchantress strategy, you try to get an Argothian Enchantress or an Enchantress's presence into play. Then whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card, and you play a bunch of very cheap enchantments that let you cycle through your deck and build up a large number of enchantment. So once you have a large number of enchantments, your Sacrosanctums tap for approximately 1 billion D mana. And using that 1 billion D mana, you find a way to win somehow. It doesn't really matter at that point. Now, this deck uses a Living Wish package. So, Living Wish lets you go and tutor for a land or a creature. So we have 2 lands that we can tutor for, a Karakas and a Bojuka Bog, just as sort of like hate cards for difficult matchups. Otherwise, we're tutoring for Big Daddy Emrakul most of the time. And yes, we really can just hardcast him in this deck. It is not particularly hard with Sarah's Sanctum and like the Wild Growth and Utopia Sprawls. It's much easier than you might think. Otherwise, the rest of the Living Wish board is interesting. Let me just pull all the creatures that we can tutor for into one pile here. So a couple of these are hate cards, like Revoker, Aegis of the Gods, Peacekeeper, Gaddock Teague. These are all cards that can kind of like shut down certain matchups. I'll read Peacekeeper because most of you probably don't know that one. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice this unless you pay 1 and a white, and creatures can't attack. So against a lot of decks like Infect, that hits the table and you're like, oh god, why? I literally can't win anymore. So that's pretty neat. Otherwise, we have 2 creatures. Yeah, we have 2 creatures that are artifact or enchantment removal. We have another Enchantress effect. So the Living Wishes essentially make it so that we have 7 of these in the main deck, plus the Eidolon of Blossoms, plus 4 more in the form of Living Wish that's a little bit slower. So you gain some consistency. Then we have 3 win conditions in the sideboard. Doomwake Giant, which has Consolation. So whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, creatures my opponents control get -1/-1. Rest in peace, death and taxes. We have Emrakul as our primary win condition, and then we have more of a mid-range threat win condition, Kamal Fist of Krosa. So it's a 4/3 on its own, and for 1 green, you can turn a creature into a 1/1 land. Then for 5, you can give all your creatures +3/+3 and trample until the end of turn. So for the times where you have a middling amount of mana, but you can't quite get to Emrakul, this is something that you can tutor up and just try to go wide of a lot of opponents. They have 2 chokes, because I really like to choke people. This card's great. Very, very good right now, with all the Grixis Control and Miracles running around. So just so your question, is there a Bant Enchantress that runs the new commander? I have not seen anyone playing a new commander card in Enchantress, although, you know, to be honest, I'm not looking super carefully at all the Enchantress content that's coming out. Yep, we can turn a creature into a 1/1 land. It'd be real interesting if we had some other card in the deck that could be a combo with. Say that, you know, we have Kamal and a Doomwake Giant. We turn all of my opponent's lands into 1/1s, and then, enchantment. There go all your lands. So Kamal can also be this really weird, awkward, one-sided Armageddon, which is cool. All right. So if you have any questions about the deck list at any time, and it is a little bit weird, there's some oldies but goodies in here like Gaia's Touch and Solitary Confinement. If you ever have any questions, click on the Cardboard Live extension on the left-hand side of your screen. It looks like a card with a little microphone, and you can hover over any of the cards to see what they look like. So again, this donation deck list is brought to us by Dr. Bill, who recently won one of his local events with this list, winning himself some buys. I believe it was an Eternal Weekend qualifier. Without further ado, let's battle. Actually, a little bit more ado. I am going to do a second stream tonight. I am still going to do my regularly scheduled 7 p.m. Stream. Tonight's will be with one of my donation goal deck lists. It will be with Mono Black Control. Safali, Cardboard Live is currently not working on mobile. It is in development for mobile. It is coming soon. I don't know exactly when that is yet, but they are actively working on it. So tonight's stream will be with Mono Black Control. I've updated a little bit, and I'll do the full deck tech tonight. But essentially, I'm playing a few more Planeswalkers than I'm playing before. I trimmed on a Lash Writhe and an Arena and a piece of removal or 2 in order to jam those in there. But this gives me a little bit more main deck removal than I had before. Hey, Dr. Bill, perfect timing. I was just finishing up the deck tech. Yeah, so Wilson and the rest of his team are working on that, you know, as we speak. They're working pretty hard. There's some small bug fixes that they're working on for the computer-based client, and they're also working on mobile. So he does have like another full-time employee or 2 like actively helping him out with it. So I would expect to see real results with that, quote unquote, soon. Let's battle. So for anyone who was watching last night, sorry, I did lose power last night due to the storm. So we did not conclude the last match last night with Nick Fit. Eric and his absurd 38 trophies. I need to play some more and get back up on this leaderboard. I fell off. Like, 6 is still fine. Like, I'm just off of the leaderboard. And that's okay. Yeah, the mono black deck should have some snowlands. 100% should. All right. I'm gonna keep my hand. So like I have wild growths to start things off and increase the amount of mana that I have, and then I can also either Living Wish or Green Sun Zenith for an Enchantress effect. So I'm good to go on that end. It's also exceedingly difficult to go and disrupt a basic forest, so it's not that big of a deal. Like I don't have to worry about just getting like Ghost Quarter or something and losing my wild growth. So Safali, generally speaking, it's about a $20 donation for like an article or a matchup primer. Or if you have some other like topic you want to explore, um, it's going to be in about that range. Do you have something in mind you're interested in? Bentley, it would be a very large donation to make me play a deck other than D&T at a real GP that I've like traveled to. Boo. It's fine. Like I still have another one of these on queue. No, I don't have any pets. I had cats growing up. Ah. Sorry. So I had pets growing up, but I'm not that much of an animal person myself. I like my things to stay like clean and neat, and having pets does not contribute well to that plan. Zach, you know exactly what this garbage is. It is Enchantress. Well, we've had two Enchantresses answered so far, so I'm gonna awkwardly flub around for a little while. I mean, I personally would be very happy jamming D&T close to all day every day. But, you know, there are other Magic decks in life. Plus, I am trying to expand my range as a player a little bit, and the donation deck lists are really helping me do that. Alright, so each one of these adds one additional, so what, this is 3 currently? So I can't do Doomwraith Giant just yet. Next turn I can, though. Oh, man, speaking of Sylvan Library, Zach, I still need to listen to your podcast with Jody Keith. I haven't gotten around to that yet. Aha, a 1/1 I can kill. Good job, Doomwake Giant. Got him. Yeah, Jody's cool. I'm glad that he did some coverage for the Legacy Premier League. He played some super interesting decks there. All right, those are big Tarmogoyfs. Hmm. Can currently shrink them down, and then I could attack. So I could shrink those by 3, put them to 3/4s. But then they could double block and take my Doomwake Giant. I don't really want that. Huh. I guess I can start turtling up. Like, I can play double Elephant Grass. They can't attack me unless they pay 4. And then I can just, like, use these and, like, my Wild Growths and stuff to just, like, buy time until I draw something that matters. The question is, like, how all in do I actually go here? The answer is probably all the way in. So this currently taps for 3. I can make it tap for 4. Yeah. All right. No, I guess I'll save the 1 Wild Growth for 1 turn in case I draw an Enchantress effect. And I can just overpay here. Note that you're going to figure out real quick what's happening here. In retrospect, I probably should have played this Wild Growth out to play around something like a Hymn. All right, well, that other Tarmogoyf is not going to matter. Oh, Safali, thank you very much. I'll take a look at the specifics of your donations in between rounds. I really appreciate like the overwhelming support that I've gotten from everyone in the past couple of weeks. It means so much. So yeah, if I draw a living wish, I guess I could like living wish for Kamal and just blow up all their lands so they can't attack. Or I could just get Peacekeeper so they can't attack. Uh, yeah, there are just a few Tarmogoyfs here. Unfortunately, I will have to chump block this turn. And Farish, thank you for those kind words. It means a lot. I've put a lot of work into like Thraben University and this stream over the past couple of years, and the last 2 months in particular have felt very validating. Between like doing all the coverage for the Legacy Premier League and some of the donations that I've gotten, it's been a great month or two for the stream. Sorry, buddy. Fuck. I now do not know what the plan is. I had the plan, and then the plan just died. Alright, so 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I guess... Shit, my Oblivion Ring's gone. I guess I could draw Replenish. Alright, so we're going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to that. We're going to draw Replenish. Shit. Okay, so note, you don't really sideboard very much with a deck like this since I have a Living Wish package. So the chokes are obviously going to be very good, but you don't board in cards like these. You leave them in the sideboard as targets. Same with Peacekeeper as well. Yeah, I might just sideboard like 2 cards, honestly. This is not not a deck where you regularly sideboard in more than a couple cards, and that's the general tendency for cards that are playing Wish, or decks that are playing Wishes. Like if you're playing Cunning Wish or Burning Wish, you have to leave most of your targets in the board. So my Seal of Primordium can probably go out. Like, yeah, my opponent is going to have Sylvan Library, but that's about it. So this card's a little weak. And then trimming one of the Gaia's Touches is probably pretty safe. My opponent was pretty lucky to be able to, like, Edict and force away my 2 initial Enchantresses. Yep, okay. This hand is fine. I'm going to be wanting a little bit more mana, but I'm pretty likely to draw that in one way or another. Jeez. Like, Enchantress is going to be hit with a lot of splash damage from Assassin's Trophy. So Sandstone Ray, they do different things. People who sub tend to keep resubbing. So, like, per month, a subscription isn't all that much. And so, like, in the short term, a sub is less valuable than a donation. But in the long term, if someone stays subscribed to me for, say, a year or something like that, then that sub is more valuable to me, over time than a donation is. So I'd say they're equally valuable, but in different ways. All right, opponent again has answered 2 Enchantress effects. Daggers. Like, we still have 2 more Enchantress effects in hand, oddly enough. So it's still fine. Yeah, Farish. If/when my partnership application ever goes through, the number of subs I have will matter a lot for things like my emotes. But all that stuff is still in limbo, unfortunately. All right. I have a choice this turn. I can either just play my Eidolon, guarantee myself 1 card, or I can Living Wish for an Enchantress. It doesn't get me a card immediately. Yeah, if I knew for a fact that someone would only sub for 1 month and never again, would a donation be preferable? Yes, a donation would be preferable. I think I'm going to guarantee myself the card this turn by playing it this way. This gives me more flexibility to do something different with my Living Wish later on. The Eidolon can be... there's no reason to do that right there, but okay. Yeah, so a donation is going to be larger than, like, the $5 I would get from the sub stuff. So that would definitely be preferable if you were looking to support me just 1 time. All right. So can I Living Wish for something to let me start going ham? Not really. think I just Living Wish for another Enchantress effect. A Toxic Deluge would be pretty backbreaking here. Oh, Bentley, sorry, I missed your question. No, I'm not working on foiling out D&T. I'm working on foreigning out D&T. And I'm most of the way there. Surgical extraction on Utopia Sprawl. Deal. Deal. My opponent did not even let me have the fun there. No sideboarding changes. Assorted. So, like, I'm kind of a language buff, so I just kind of pick them up when I see them. So, like, there's some Chinese, Japanese, German, French. So it's a little bit of an eclectic mix. I don't love this hand. It can get an Enchantress, but all three of these are cards that I don't want in the early game. They're cards that I want for the late game. I think this one needs to go back. Especially if my opponent just, like, thought seizes me. My hand is just, like, 100% dead, and I don't even have any additional mana. This hand is much better. Okay. So, Wild Growth turn 1 means 3 mana, turn 2. Can turn that. Yeah, I'll top this. It's not like it's insane or anything, but the ability to just, like, produce extra mana over time adds up into an advantage. This is super good for me. This can't take the Eidolon. Yes, Bentley, I'm planning on going to Baltimore. I think I'm going with Harley and Sean. Assuming that Roanoke isn't just, like, completely underwater or anything. But it's pretty tame here right now. Guess I probably need white with the first one. Yeah, Bentley, I only lost power for less than 5 minutes last night. Sandstone X-Ray, I'm up for pretty much anything as far as the donation deck lists go. I have not turned anything away yet. Ugh. These enchantments have a family. Well, this is bad. I would play the Miracle of Science. I haven't seen anyone playing that deck since, like... Who tried that out at one of our local events? I feel like it was probably Sean. Seems like something he would do. Get him! Get him! So, Master, they did a 2-for-2 there, their Noble Hierarch and my Engineered Explosives, for my 2 enchantments. And my enchantments are probably way better for me than their Noble Hierarch is for them. The Sean in question here is Sean French of Team Tusk. So Mark, Kamal is either a mid-range win condition for Living Wish, or when coupled with Doomwake Giant, it can be a way to blow up all of your opponent's lands. Alright, so both of my fetch lands are going to get turned off. I'm not exactly sure how I can win this game. Can't Elephant Grass off the top, because my opponent can still play 2. Oh man. That is a sweet one, Sandstone X-Ray. Alright, this cycles, so I get one more look. Wait, does this do it? Oh, this doesn't add a mana, does it? I'm 1 off from being able to pay 2 mana, Living Wish, play Peacekeeper. No. That's so disappointing. We were so close. I guess if I had played out my Solitary Confinement as a Fog, I could have bought a couple more turns. Dang. Alright. I'm just going to pull this up for 1 second. I want to check my email. Okay, so Safali and Sandstone X-Ray, I got both of your donations. Thank you very much for those. Yeah, oh man, Zach, that's a weird line. Yeah, I guess I could have done that. I could have put it on a fetch land to give me 1 more potential mana, and then Peacekeeper gets put into play. Yeah. Yep, I fucked up. I didn't know what I was possibly playing towards. So without knowing what I was playing towards as my outs. Oh, no, no, no. Peacekeeper's 3 mana. I thought it was 2 mana. So I was not good either way. All right. Sorry, chat. Give me 2 seconds to update my donation queue here. Oh, never mind. I'm not logged in on my website, so I'll do that later. All right. All right. Yeah, Zach, still agreed, still the better line. I still messed up. My fetch lands were off. I should have foreseen that. I did not. Yeah, but Sandstone X-Ray, I could see Peacekeeper working in a deck like this. So just to flash this deck real quick, I just got a donation for this deck list. It is a mono-white stacks deck. So Sandstone, this was 59 cards in the main deck. So if you could just let me know what that last card is supposed to be, that would be helpful. It just might be a card that like you spelled wrong when you imported it or something. This hand does not do anything. I really want a hand that has an Enchantress effect of some nature or access to one at some point in the game, so that one had to be a mulligan. Do I have a Dryad Arbor? I do not have a Dryad Arbor. This one's still a keep. This is sort of a slow hand, but it will get much better potentially over the course of this game, and most of my draws are good. That I will ship to the bottom. I already have access to 3 different Enchantress effects. I'm really just looking for mana. Yep, okay, there we go. Got it. How willing am I to take a hit from this Goblin Lackey? My opponent can just play land and ignore my Elephant Grass anyway. So my plan for this game is use my Enchantress effects to draw some mana and then Doomwake Giant away everything my opponent loves. I need to hope to just not die in the interim. Okay. This is a good start. So now my opponent only gets to attack with one of these 2 idiots. The Warren Instigator will still be a problem. But at least they're only putting in 2 idiots instead of 3. No blocks. Do your worst. I'm essentially hoping for not Lords. I want everything to stay small for Doomwake Giant reasons. Alright. Goblin Matron means that before the second Warren Instigator trigger, my opponent does get to... Oh, geez. Goblin Settler. And then next turn, I'm facing down, like, Kiki-Jiki Goblin Settler, probably. So I probably need to just let this Elephant Grass go, unfortunately. Because I currently only have, like, one other Enchantress play, and I do need to just make that. Ugh. Maybe I need to luck sack into a land. Or not a land, like a mana producer. Or some 1 mana thing. Yeah. That is not it. And if my opponent has Kiki-Jiki like I expect that they do, this game's pretty much over. Oh, neat. They don't have Kiki-Jiki main deck. Alright, they got a Goblin Chieftain. Yeah, drawing a Living Wish would be pretty stellar. Alright, so this is, I think, where I let the Elephant Grass go in order to, like, actually try and win this game. That is not good. Alright, so my opponent draws a land. They can have 3... Or no, is it Chieftain or War Chief? Oh, it's revealed over here. Alright, so my opponent can have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 power worth of stuff in play. So if I jump block the Warren Instigator, it's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think I'm pretty dead. I could play... Alright, so I think I have to just hope my opponent does not hit a land. And then try to, like, go off next turn. I think in order to do that, I want 1 more card right now. And 1 more enchantment in play, in case I can do something with Serra Sanctum. And if they draw a land and just play like the Chieftain and I die, so be it. Okay, so if I don't block the Warren Instigator, the first hit of that puts in the Goblin, and then it's 3, 6, 7, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I do have to chump this or I die. All right. Not sure what I'm playing towards here. Not that. Sheeping. I've played with both Rectors, but I haven't played with the version that has both of them in the same deck, I don't think. Mengucci did a stream with both, I believe, and like a sort of a weird evolutionary leap type build. But otherwise, I haven't played with that. I definitely would be willing to. Like, Nick Fit is a blast to play. You do some stupid things sometimes. It's just a little bit inconsistent. So Peacekeeper as a Living Wish target is pretty hot. I probably want to bring in some number of these things just to, like, have them. And I'm going to want to leave at least one of those effects in the board because one of the ways that Goblins can get really far ahead is with Aether Vial. So I need to leave at least one of these as a tutor target. No, I guess this one comes in. I don't need Ground Seal in this matchup for sure. And then I should leave one of these two creatures in the sideboard as a target. I think I'll leave the Wickerbow Elder in the sideboard. Not 100% sure, though. Yeah, I agree. This is not a replenish matchup. They're not going to be destroying my enchantments. They're not going to be attacking my hand. That's unnecessary here. I'm gonna keep this. If my opponent is on an Aether Vial start and I just get to like Seal of Primordia in their Aether Vial, then this hand's actually very good. If not, I can use Elephant Grass to buy a couple of turns, and that's not the end of the world either. Unfortunately, my opponent is on a Goblin Lackey start. Ha-ha! Yeah, we did get him. We got him good. We'll see if the Goblin Lackey gets us good back, though. Because that's very possible. Man, a Warren Instigator again. That card's so good against Elephant Grass. Alright, I think I just, like, have to let the Elephant Grass go in order to do anything this game here. Actually, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I was just supposed to play out Gaia's Touch to guarantee that I could Doomwake Giant on the following turn. Alright, those are some big boys. Alright, how the hell am I supposed to get out of this? I guess now I'm playing towards another copy of Elephant Grass, so I only take 8. So I think first I just play Gaia's Touch for free. This is just essentially like... So I can Utopia Sprawl first if I want. I guess if I miss on an Elephant Grass, I just die. So I need to get the greatest number of draws possible. So this one's free. So let's start with that. It's kind of unfortunate that I didn't draw a forest. So this is 3 mana. So now I can play the Enchantress. If I draw Sarah's Sanctum doesn't actually do anything with what's here. So I can just play my land, Utopia Sprawl it. I guess we just name green. And we died. To confirm, I block this. It's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, very dead. So I think I could have beaten Goblin Lackey both games. I just don't think I can beat War and Instigator. Pooping in one creature is like obviously very good. It cheats on a lot of mana, but the 2 a turn was just faster than what I could deal with. So my initial thoughts on this build are that the Living Wishes add some consistency at the cost of some degree of speed. Hey Romario, welcome. We're getting whooped with Enchantress. I've gotta turn this league around. It is not going well. So both games I've sort of lost to the same thing, right? I've lost to a hyper aggressive early threat both times. So War and Instigator beat us and Tarmogoyf beat us. Those were our problem cards so far. So I can just cycle this cast out. This hand is very, very slow. But how many draws make it good? So if I drew Abundant Growth or Wild Growth, this hand is pretty good. Sorry, like Abundant Growth, Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth makes this hand acceptable. But these are very bad right now. I'm going to risk this one. My opponent's mulliganed to 6 already, so maybe their primary game plan is going to be hindered enough that this is acceptable. So I have 18 lands remaining, plus a whole bunch of 1-drops that are all very good. And even just drawing an Enchantress would be pretty good as well. Alright, my opponent has mulligan to 5. Alright, so I'm playing against Death Shadow Delver, and my opponent has mulled into Oblivion. This hand is pretty good against a Death Shadow deck. Like with double Elephant Grass here. This works out. I don't think I want to expose myself to Wasteland early on in this game. I just want to be able to get to 3 mana, jam my Enchantress's Presence, and hope that it sticks. I also may just, like, cast out one of my opponent's early creatures. Yes, Romario, I am going to Baltimore. I'll be playing Death and Taxes, to the surprise of no one. The Applejacks, the Orcish Lumberjack deck is pretty fun. Alright, so my opponent has 2 cards. Do I respect Days? If I don't respect Days, I just play like Elephant Grass and Abundant Growth this turn, and then I don't actually get to play around it the following turn. And then I could just like be further exposing it to a Thoughtseize. But I really need this to resolve. Does my opponent like cantrip like at all? No, they have not cantripped at all. I think I just jam, right? Like, waiting doesn't actually benefit me all that much. Alright, show me potato salad. You got it? If they answer this one, I just like play an Elephant Grass and pay for it for the next bajillion D turns, and it's not that big of a deal. But if this resolves, it becomes very difficult for me to lose this game. My opponent hymns me and get double Elephant Grass. I still have, like, cast out for Gurmag Angler. My opponent just conceded there. Which I guess is fine since they know I have double Elephant Grass. Alright, so I'm playing against Death Shadow Delver. Again, most of my stuff tends to stay in the sideboard for Living Wish targets. I'll bring in Choke because I love that card. That's probably all. Seal of Primordium and Ground Seal can go out. And that's probably all the changes that I'll make. Yeah, like, Doomwake is kind of mediocre, I agree. Like, is there anything I want over it? Like, I want to leave... I think I want to leave this in the board as a target. Actually, maybe Peacekeeper is the target that I go for in this matchup. I could just, like, play Aegis so that it can be Thoughtseize protection. Like, I'd never wish for that, but I could see playing it. Alright, if I Living Wish, I think I just get Peacekeeper, like, 100% of the time, right? Because this should just be unbeatable. Because I presume that they will board out all of their targeted removal because it's not going to do anything against my deck. So I think I just get a free roll win if I Peacekeeper. So keeping that in mind, can I just, like, bring in the Enchantress? I think so. I'm not 100% there, but that logically makes sense to me. I'm just going to do a quick scan to see if there's anything else that I want to cut. I don't think so. I don't have an Enchantress effect, but I have mana, and I have an answer. And this card's pretty annoying too. So I think this is fine. Like, if I just, like, mulligan into a hand with one Enchantress effect, my opponent thought seizes me, it's very dangerous for me. Yeah, that's why I've Utopia Sprawled on white early, is for exactly that reason. Alright. Delver Blind flips to a Brainstorm. That seems solid. This probably requires a daze from my opponent if they have one. Otherwise, I've taken the pressure off the board, and I have time to draw into something that matters. Alright, there goes one of the solitary confinements. So this makes me skip my draw step, so it's not actually safe to play this card yet. So it's just going to hang out in my hand. And until my opponent plays another threat, the Elephant Grass doesn't need to be in play. That's very good. I guess I didn't need to leave myself with a white because of... Sarah Sanctum in my hand. Sorry to finish that thought. Ratchet Bomb, better than Throne of Geth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and play this here, and then just pass the turn. Edict as the last card. Come on. Come on. Solitary Confinement not looking too hot. Opponent presumably has like a land or a counter spell in hand that they'll now shuffle away to the Brainstorm because it wasn't good. Seems like my opponent has a Gurmag Angler. Joke's on you. I have an Elephant Grass. And now I have all the time in the world. So Elephant Grass says that black creatures can't attack me, so my opponent can't actually pay to attack. Let's see, so I can go 1, 2, 3, Green Sun, and then I can produce 3 mana. I could just run out the Solitary Confinement this exact turn and just use it as a cantrip, not necessarily intending to keep it. That's probably fine. I'm already exposed to Wasteland, so it doesn't matter if I get a little further exposed. Yeah, Bill, you're right. I should have just Green Sun for Eidolon. Alright, so I have 1, 2, 3 enchantments. So I should just pay with this. Alright, so I should play a land to play around Days here. And my opponent's done with my crap at this point. Alright, we have started to redeem this league. We beat Koala 40. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, and then we'll go into round 4. Alright, folks, I'm back. Hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run at ThrabenU University, a site for legacy death and taxes, and today we are playing Enchantress. Our back is against the wall. We're currently 1-2. We're going to see if we can win 2 matches in a row and draw a whole bunch of cards. So far today, we've lost to some early hyper-aggressive threats. So we died to a bunch of 6-7 Tarmogoyfs in round 1, and we lost to Warren Instigator twice in a row in round 2. But when we get to start like drawing cards and like actually going through with our game plan, it looks like things are going a-okay for me. Friendly reminder, did you wash your hands? I did indeed. So this stream is brought to you by 3 different people, or groups rather. It is brought to you by Cardboard Live, which is an extension you can see on the left-hand side of your screen for deck lists. I really love this extension. I like it better than things like Stream Decker, and it's also got some cool functions if you're actually running tournaments, like you can pull up some like metagame data on your tournament itself. It's actually really cool. Number 2, I'd like to thank Card Hoarder. They're the ones who are letting me borrow this sweet Enchantress deck. If you're looking for online cards, they're a good place to turn to. And finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Bill, who donated to see this deck list in action. It won him some buys at one of his local events. And although it's not firing on all cylinders today, I do quite like the Enchantress deck. I've played more with the Words of Wind version, which wins mostly by bouncing all of your opponent's permanents. But one too many of our Enchantresses has been answered today. And we have a match. My opponent was last seen playing some weird Dead Guy Ale deck, although they've played some Blue-Red Delver as well. I cannot produce green mana. This one's a mulligan. Actually, I cannot produce any mana on that note. Do I want that 3rd land? No. I think I want to draw into sort of like an enchantment that I can play on turn 1, preferably. Alright, Blue-Red Delver confirmed. If my opponent doesn't have counterspells, my hand is pretty great. My opponent does have counterspells. Ugh. I'm gonna die. Alright, if I resolve this solitary confinement next turn, it would become very difficult to lose the game. That is a pretty big if, though. Especially after my opponent brainstorming. Well. Please, no counter spells. Again, same thing. Quick early threats are just absolutely rolling me. All right, so I don't want Ground Seal. I don't want Seal of Primordium again. Aegis of the Gods should probably come in. Chokes should probably come in. And I could see Replenish coming out. We're going to name green with this first one, so they have the possibility of, like, double Utopia Sprawl or Gaia's Touch on my next turn. Julian, I have 2 Doomwake Giants in this deck. That's at least some semblance of a prayer of winning a game against elves. Sarah Sanctum would be a pretty sick draw. Sure, you can do that in the upkeep. So I don't actually think I want to play another Utopia Sprawl out. Because next turn I can go, assuming this doesn't get tapped again, I have 4 mana for Living Wish into Enchantress into cast Utopia Sprawl on this. So I think it is just to my benefit to hold that card. Hmm. Yes. still get the Enchantress. I will play it. Wouldn't be surprised if it got Force of Willed. Now I'll go ahead and Utopia Sprawl. Put that one on black so I can Doomwake, and then maybe kill these Monastery Swift Spears. Okay. I have gotten the memo. You like Swift Spear. Please don't counter this. And please don't counter this. Let me do this. Let me have my fun. Let me kill 4 Monastery Swift Spears. No! I was going to snip that. It was going to be so great. Alright, what's my Living Wish plan now? Well, I can Living Wish to an answer for that, or I can Living Wish for a Doomwake Giant. I do need a sub badge. I thought that was something I could only do once I hit partner, but I was very wrong about that. Okay, so I can Living Wish for the second Doomwake. So 2 mana for Living Wish, 5 mana for second Doomwake. That clears the board, and then I can potentially just erase my opponent. Or I can just Living Wish for Choke. No, can't Living Wish for Choke. That doesn't work. Sorry, I was just reading off my sideboard cards. I can Living Wish for Rex Sage, blow up Sulfuric Vortex. This is target to that player now. I probably need to blow up the Vortex. So this is 5. Let's Abundant Growth and see what I draw first. Does prevent all damage? Neat. Okay. So because the mana is not an issue, I can get Wickerbow Elder here. And then cast Solitary Confinement. And I nug my opponent. That gets rid of all of their Swift Spears, so I don't have to worry about that. Then I can just, like, treat my Solitary Confinement as gain 2 life, destroy 3 Mentors. Merja, thank you very much for using your Twitch Prime to support my channel this much. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, no one adds quotes on my channel for some reason. I don't know what's up with that. I should update this. That changed during this stream. Yeah, so Julian, there's a hurricane on the East Coast in the United States right now. So I didn't have school today. So I'm doing 2 streams today. I'll do one in the sort of like late morning, early afternoon here, and then a second this evening at normal times. I've got a donation goal deck list tonight that I'll be playing. It's mono black control. It's going to be fun. And of note, I didn't play out my Caracas to play around Price of Progress. Yeah, and Hoogland's also streaming right now, so he eats so many of the viewers. Alright, Snapcaster Mage. I don't... Targeting Fire Ice. So you really should have done this in the beginning of combat, opponent. And that's because, like, if I just play any enchantment now... Alright, what do I Living Wish for? Is Aegis of the Gods still in my sideboard, or did I board it? I boarded it in. How much mana do I have? 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I can just, like, Living Wish for Kamal, and then next turn, if I draw an enchantment, just kill all of my opponent's lands. Or I can just get another Doomwake Giant. Let's just do that. What is this targeting? Ice targeting Doomwake Giant. That's fine. I'm gonna play Doomwake Giant because I can play it around days. Yeah, I knew a lot of people that really liked Hex. I know a lot of people who are also talking about Eternal right now. Julian, that one's Eternal. When I went to Richmond with Nick Miller, he was talking a lot about Eternal. He thinks that that game really has some potential to it. So Schultz, Orcish Lumberjack is essentially a legacy playable Black Lotus, to oversimplify. It's a creature for 1 red mana that says you can sacrifice a forest. If you do so, add 3 red or green mana to your mana pool. So when I play an Orcish Lumberjack deck, it's a deck that has like a bunch of land-based synergies with things like Titania. Winning Bazaar of Moxen seems like good value. I'd do that. I need another land. I unfortunately think this hand has to go back, despite having a lot of cards that I really want to see. If my opponent just leads on a creature and I miss my other land, I think I'm just super dead. So I essentially get 3 draws to hit a land. Is that fine? So I have 19 lands remaining, 3 draws to do so, with Wild Growth and Utopia Sprawls also being good draws. Actually, maybe this is fine. No, I don't have Dryad Arbor, which is what makes this more questionable. Abundant Growth is not a ramp spell. It just makes it tap for any mana. I'm gonna keep it. Got a land. Hand's great. Alright, well, maybe great is an overstatement, but at least good now. I'm at least playing Magic. And my opponent doesn't appear to have blue mana. Which means my choke is a little bit less good than I would like, but hey, whatever. Well, my opponent can't have days here. So it's just Force of Will. Show me what you got. It resolves. Yeah, like I could have just played Grass that turn and passed, but since I don't need to play around days anyway. I think it's fine to take a couple more damage. And then I'll get a draw off of Elephant Grass. Probably just want more green mana here. So I can play this Gaia's Touch here as essentially a free card, because I can just cycle it for its mana. That was a pretty acceptable turn. Note that under normal, and my opponent's just done with me. Note that under normal circumstances, you really try not to put these Enchantress effects onto non-basic lands, but in order to try to like really push what I could do that turn to the limit, I took that risk. All right, so we brought it back to 2-2. Let's see if we can catch this one. Attacking to send a message is all fine and good until your opponent's playing some stupid card like Blessed Alliance that just, like, gets you. So Dr. Bill in chat was the one who donated to get this deck list on stream, and he won his local Eternal Weekend qualifier to get some buys. And I think he actually beat D&T like 4 times with this deck. Doomwake Giant is a hell of a drug. I have registered cleansing meditation in an event before. I think multiple. There was like a 2 or 3 event period at the local Star City shop where there were 2 or 3 copies of Enchantress in a room of like 20 people, maybe slightly less than that. And it was just like, well, I guess we could play super narrow cards and just get them. I think I was playing Miracles at the time, so I got to like destroy all of their enchantments and bring back my counterbalance if I destroyed it, which was cool. And we found our match. Battle. Looks like my opponent has played a lot of blue decks, somewhat last year Grixis Delver. Cleansing Meditation. Alright, so with this hand I can go turn 2 Gaia's Touch, 0, put a forest into play, sacrifice it, Living Wish for an Enchantress, or just not sacrifice it and then use the following turn to dump in another forest. I think I'm going to keep this hand. Alright, we're playing against Burn. Enchantress effect is great. I can actually play that on turn 2. So I need to stem the bleeding here. So I think I just want to use my green sun this turn. And we'll see what I can do next turn. In the midterm, oh god. I would love to get, like, Doomwake Giant. Alright, there's an Enchantress present on top of my deck. Okay. So I can't quite Living Wish for Peacekeeper, unfortunately. Alright, looks like this Argothian Enchantress is probably in chump block mode. That way I don't just die to one random bolt. Alright, I have an Abundant Growth on top. That's not going to do a ton. Opponent still has 5 cards. I can't imagine I'm still alive. Can I Doomwake Giant this turn? 2 mana Living Wish, go to 2. Okay, so I can Doomwake, but I can't get the second enchantment. So that doesn't work. I guess I could draw solitary confinement. That is how I win this game. So how do I get myself the greatest number of draws towards solitary confinement? So I can go 1, 2, 3. Play second Enchantress is present. Then cast Abundant Growth. No. So I only get one cheap spell. Shit. Yeah. I'm dead. All right. So I know I don't want this seal or this seal, I don't think. I had 7 mana, right? I think I had 7. So that would have to be Green Sun for 5. And then I don't think I have the mana to do it. Not 100% sure. I don't know if I had 7 or 8. If I had 8, then that works. This is probably too slow of a matchup for Replenish. So I think I actually just want to board in my Doom White Giant. So I'm going to Living Wish. If I Living Wish, I probably want to be Living Wishing for my Enchantress effect. Oh, right. So I had 7 showing, but if I get the Eidolon, it adds 1 more mana to my mana pool because of the Sanctum. Yeah, you're right. So speed matters so much in this matchup. I wonder if I'm supposed to just do this. If I do that, what do I even Living Wish for, though? I guess Peacekeeper. Yeah. I do wonder if when I'm on the draw, I should just, like, cut the wishes. Alright, so I'll keep this. This is turn 2, get my Enchantress effect into play. And sometime in the not-too-distant future, Solitary Confinement. Alright, so I got another forest. That's actually pretty good because it makes my wild growth effectively free here. So I can just go forest, wild growth this, tap this for 3, green sun for my guy. Or I can just play forest and just green sun for it and then save this for a draw, which I think I like better. Well, that is a kick in the pants. So I guess I can just solitary confinement. And that will stop the pyrostatic pillar damage. And that's a pretty quick concession from my opponent. So now on the draw, let's just, like, get rid of these living wishes completely. And I'll play some cards that are probably going to be a bit marginal. Like, I can just board in the Peacekeeper, I can just board this in as answers to Eidolons and Pyrostatic Pillars. And if I know they have that, maybe these seals need to come back in as well. And I think my primary win condition is just my opponent conceding to solitary confinement. Otherwise, I will poke them to death slowly with, like, a Doom Wake or something. Alright, well, I have Enchantress effects. So I keep. Please don't just pillar me or Eidolon. Yep. Alright. Sarah Sanctum is a fine draw. So next turn I do have the option to go search up a Rex Sage and just blow this up. Super punished for playing my Bayou. Come on, solitary confinement. Alright, so if my opponent doesn't double dome me to the face here, I can probably find solitary confinement with all of the absurd number of draws that I'm going to have on my turn. Well, not technically dead to that, but I'm dead to one other spell plus that. So my green's my limiting factor this turn. I'm going to have a ton of mana available. So I think I'm okay with just tapping this for a bunch of colorless now and keeping my options open. New spoiler. I love new spoilers. There's a solitary confinement. And my opponent's done with me. Alright, so let's kind of do a quick breakdown of what I think of this deck. And then I'll talk about that Chance of Glory card. Okay, so every time I lost, it was to the exact same thing. Every time I was losing, it was to a hyper-aggressive start before I got my engine going. So I kept losing to things like early Tarmogoyfs, early Warren Instigator, just things that could kind of go really, really under me. When I got my engine going, I won most of the games that way. But they're... I don't know how much I like the Living Wish package. Like, I understand wanting to have one more Enchantress effect. Like, sorry, like 3 more Enchantress effects because, like, this turns one of your Enchantresses into 4 different copies of it, and I understand wanting to have that for some of the matchups. But against most of the matchups where I lost, I just needed speed more so than anything else. And this doesn't contribute to speed. So I think a deck built like this is going to be very good against things like Grixis Control and Death and Taxes, where they don't have a Swift Clock, and so this extra redundancy is very, very potent. But against like your opposing combo decks without things like Candelabras to like really, and extra copies of Serra Sanctum to really boost the mana amount that you can generate, it's much harder, I think, to stabilize the early game or to race opposing combo decks. So I don't know if this version is necessarily better than other versions of the deck that I've played, but it certainly angles against a portion of the metagame very well. So if you're expecting to play against Grixis Control, Miracles, and Death and Taxes, I think a build like this is going to be very well suited. But if you're going to play against things like, Burn, Death Shadow, Blue-Red Delvers, stuff like that, this build is going to be less good. This deck's really fun when it starts doing its thing. Although I do think some of my opponents conceded to Solitary Confinement way earlier than they should have, but it's really not a fun card to play against, so I get it. So let's talk about this spoiler. Chance at Glory. Creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that end step, you lose the game. This card seems very good. Very, very good. I don't know where this fits, but you can certainly do something broken with this in some sort of, like, modern red-white burn deck. And this card seems insane for Standard purposes. Like, my god. I can't imagine this being okay for Standard. Like, you just play a handful of aggressive creatures, and then on about turn 4, you just play Chance at Glory, take an extra turn, and you just, like, burn your opponent out. This card's neat. I have no idea what Glorious End is. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so I can see this like being an upgrade over Glorious End. But this one kind of like gives you a boost in combat followed by another turn. Okay. Yeah, so I imagine this card will probably be pretty good in Standard, potentially. But I know nothing about Standard, so I say that just based on, like, potential power level of card. Like, I have no idea what sort of, like, small red-white creatures could actually support this card in Standard. But I could see it doing something. I'm just, like, so out of touch with that format that I can't give real advice about this. Um, but I don't see this being legacy playable, and I could see it being modern playable if there's a home for that, but I don't really know. But it seems sweet. Like, I'm not gonna go and try to like jam this into any legacy deck, and I don't play any modern either or standard. So this is not really a card that's going to go and impact me. Yeah, I don't think I've played a game of Modern in well over a year at this point. So I'm not. I know Legacy. That's all I know. So I would default to whatever Jarvis thinks about this card. If Jarvis is skeptical that it's playable, he knows what he's talking about. I don't. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this stream. I will be back tonight, though, at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. I am going to be giving the Mono Black control deck a whir again. Someone donated to make that happen. So we're going to see if we can do anything with Gifted Aetherborn and Vampire Nighthawk in Legacy. And it should be a lot of fun. Hilarity will ensue one way or another. All right, so once again, I'd like to thank Dr. Bill for making this Enchantress stream happen on my day off here. And I want to thank my sponsors, Card Hoarder and Cardboard Live, for giving me this sweet extension that lets you all see the deck list and letting me borrow all of these cards. So I will be back later tonight, folks, and I hope you have a good afternoon.